Welcome to Reimagined Energy, the podcast that sparks fresh thinking about the future of energy. Today, we're joined by David Mitchell, Mayor of the town of Bridgewater. We'll explore how this small town in Nova Scotia is making big waves through its Energize Bridgewater initiative. From community solar to clean energy financing to resident-led action. If you've ever wondered how a municipality can lead the charge in energy innovation, this one's for you. Hello, welcome, Mayor Mitchell.
Good morning.
So I'm really happy to have you on the podcast because I know you're quite a popular guy and all across Canada for what your town is doing. And one of those things, it's the Energize Bridgewater initiative. So tell everyone, how it has evolved. Why did it get started? Where are you at now? And are you reaching the goals you set out to accomplish?
Yeah, so this started way back in 2008 when the province of Nova Scotia advised every municipality that in order to keep getting your gas tax money, as it was called back then, you had to submit a sustainability plan. And for a lot of people, that was just cut and paste from other people's plans and submit that. And for the town of Bridgewater, we actually hired a sustainability coordinator on a contract who has now been permanent since then, to come up with this sustainability plan. That then evolved into a plan dealing with, energy sustainability. So originally it was food security, energy, all these things. Kind of drilled down and we're looking at energy, green energy, things like that. And from that, we started to learn more about the community needs. And from that came this recognition that 40% of the people in our community were living in energy poverty. So it's evolved from this wider ranging plan on just sustainability in many different factors to where we are now, which is Energize Bridgewater and dealing with energy poverty.
Interesting. There's how does the community energy investment plan, how does it help guide, the transition to clean energy? And what is this investment plan?
Yeah, so this is like kind of the report, the template, if you will, that lays out all the opportunities for the town. So it's everything from working towards greener budgets. So thinking more EVs, less town gas vehicles for the town, looking at life cycle costs instead of just the purchasing price like we do for most tenders, right? So it's looking at the longer term implications of those things. It's lays out the ideas and opportunities for innovative financing models. So PACE is one of those. And then how do you kind of do PACE on steroids, right? So we've done that in collaboration with the FCM and other orders of government to make sure that we can offer low interest financing. And it's the document that kind of guides us to get people into more energy efficient and cheaper ways to operate their home. The other part of it that is really the best part of it, I think, that kind of removes that what's in it for me argument that we tend to see when we talk about some social programs or services. You always have a group that says, well, I don't need them, so why should I pay for them as a taxpayer? Is that the CEIP, the Community Energy Investment Plan, lays out the economic benefit, right? So if we can lower people's costs, that money stays in the local economy, gets redistributed to local businesses, and it's worth many, many millions of dollars just in our small town.
Amazing. You touched upon it, the what's in it for me type of analogy. So what role do residents play, in these programs, and how can they get involved? How do you motivize, incentivize and motivate them?
Yeah. So the other thing that I really like about Energize Bridgewater is it's not targeting only people in energy poverty. That is a huge segment of our population. It's 40% of our population, but anyone can participate in, getting energy financing and putting it on it goes on their tax bill and it's paid over time. They can convert to heat pumps. They can access other programs for rooftop solar and things like that. So that the resident is actively involved in reducing the town's greenhouse gas emissions,
Right.
but also in saving themselves money.
Mm-hmm.
So without the resident, that doesn't move forward.
Interesting. Can you discuss the energy management information system, and and its impact on the residents, their energy consumption as well?
Yeah, so this is a device that we've literally invented in-house now
Mm-hmm.
called Bridgewise. It was called EMIS, the Energy Management Information System, but it's now called Bridgewise. Just a little bit catchier name,
Yeah.
Bridgewater, Bridgewise. So it's a device that goes in the home,
Mm-hmm.
and coupled with the information that Nova Scotia Power gets from the smart meters.
Right.
So the smart meters tell only a portion of the picture, right? It's using some technology to say, okay, well, you're using your oven more, or you have an EV and it's charging, or your fridge is running too long because it's set to. It gives you a little bit of data.
Right.
What this does is it gets you the next step further, right? So it's talking about the humidity level in your home is making it so you're having to heat or cool more
Wow.
because it's not where it should be. Talks about airflow, air quality. And so when you couple that with the smart meter data, and then the data we have based on the age of the home from the neighborhood, tree canopy, heat islands from parking lots, all these things,
Mm-hmm.
it gives, first of all, quicker data, more closer to real-time data for the homeowner to recognize, oh, if I do this and this, I can see the results of that change quite quickly. But also as a community, it allows us to say, we have an issue over here. This part of the town is really paying a disproportionate amount of power for their power compared to this end. Why? What can we do? So I go back to that heat island, for example. If the houses that are in close proximity to a giant parking lot are warmer than those that are near the parks,
Right.
how do we deal with that, right? These heat islands can raise the temperature of a community by a few degrees.
It's amazing. Yeah.
So if you're not, maybe you're not in energy poverty, but where you live could tip you into it. So it's gathering that data on a community scale. We're the only community that's gathering that data, like with a device like this on a community scale. We can start making some changes.
Wow. I'd like one of those for my house.
It's pretty
It'd be
cool.
really great. It would be cool. How are solar energy solutions? Like, how do they work? Such as rooftop installations and solar farms. How are all of these, projects? How are they integrated actually into the community?
Yeah. So for us, our goal is net zero.
Yeah.
And so that's as a town, as an organization. So for us, we can put solar on some of our facilities.
Mm-hmm.
But in order for us as a community to get to net zero, we require homeowners to be willing to put on some rooftop solar. So for them, they're going through a private firm. They can get some quotes done and get that done and save the money as outlined by whoever it is their installer
Mm-hmm.
is. But for us, it is an important component to greening the entire grid. Nova Scotia can't be net zero
Right.
if we are not generating clean energy. And I don't think that we can achieve those goals without homeowners, where possible, putting solar. The other issue for us is we don't have enough land for a solar farm. Our land that would be suitable is in our business park, and our business park is busy. We just have some new land that we're developing, but that's going to be filled with industry. So for us, the other piece is wind. And we will be buying green energy from a third-party utility in Nova Scotia. That's just going to be in Queens County, and that's going to allow us to offset all our power needs in the town with green energy. So it's very important that both kind of go together.
This all costs money. I mean, and and green, and unfortunately, investing in clean energy, you need some financing. Residents will need some help, and homeowners, in particular. So if they want to do energy efficient upgrades, what does that look like? Are there any incentives available for them?
Yeah, this is a great question because it is so confusing for people,
Mm-hmm.
because they hear about all these different programs, Efficiency Nova Scotia, or is it E1, or is it the town, or efficiency where do they get all these grants? And now there's Facebook ads where, get up to this much money if you do this. So there are a lot of incentives available. For Energize Bridgewater, we have a community navigator, or a navigator for this. So people would call the town and that person would walk them through this. So they'd get their home energy assessment done. That's always the first step. Going back to kind of the earlier part of our questions, one of the things we noticed was for those struggling, even the fee to do that was a barrier. And so when we dramatically reduced that fee, we had a huge uptake. So people might think, oh, it's only a couple of $100. What's the big deal? For some people, that is the make or break. Yeah. So even that, it's not an incentive, but having that recognition that this is the barrier and eliminating it kind of is. And so we'll walk them through the program. They'll get their home energy assessment done. And then again, that community navigator will walk them through, here are all the grants and incentives available, right? The oil to heat pump program, or if you do the insulation in your house as recommended by your report that you got, you could get, thousands of dollars of rebates. So they'll walk them through that. But there's a lot of money on the table from the provincial government, from the federal government, from different organizations, but you need someone to walk them through that.
Looking ahead, what are your plans? You've done so much already. I'm sure you have a lot more that's coming. So can you tease out anything that's coming up?
So the big one is further deployment of Bridgewise to get that into more homes. We just started the multi-unit stream of Energize Bridgewater. So it's figuring out how to remove some of those barriers. So before it was just single family unit, that's pretty easy. But when you have a multi-unit, like an apartment, that's not energy efficient, but the catch here being, but the tenant is paying the power bill, not the landlord. What's the incentive for the landlord to do any energy retrofits, right? It goes back to that, what's in it for me, right? So there's the obvious, which is you do energy retrofits in your building, that's an investment. That is raising the value of that asset that you have. But beyond that, there's a social good that you have to monetize somehow for a business person. And so that's really the next big thing for us, is how do we crack that nut of multi-units and what's in it for me for that landlord. And I think that's a conversation we've had with the province. It's a conversation we're having with landlords. Some are jumping right on board. Like, this is great. Happy tenants are good tenants. And others, it's a little bit more difficult. But that's the big one. That and Bridgewise are the two big ones that we've got coming on.
Listen, David, I'm so happy I finally nailed you down. It was great to talk to you today. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, anytime. Love it.
All right. So take care. All the best to the town of Bridgewater. Make sure everyone tunes in to check out their website. There's a lot of really great information on there. So have a great day, David. Talk to you later.
You too.
Thanks for tuning in to Reimagined Energy. Bridgewater shows us what's possible when local leadership, data, and community involvement come together to reimagine how we power our lives. To learn about more or catch past episodes, visit reimaginedenergy.com. I'm your host, Maria McGowan. We'll see you next time.